Good Friday morning, day after Christmas, December 26th. Hope everybody's well. If you're watching this live, welcome on YouTube, on X, on Facebook. And if you're watching this on replay in full or in some sort of short or clip, thank you for supporting us. Upper right-hand corner, if you like everything that you're hearing and have heard, please take your phone and scan that QR code. That takes you right to our YouTube page. Smash the subscribe button there. There's a lot of shorts going up, long form videos, medium form videos, a lot of exciting things planned for 2026. So please go ahead and Merry Christmas 1224. Go ahead and scan that QR code to smash subscribe on YouTube. If you are on YouTube and you're on Facebook, please follow us on X at PB Sports Talks. With us on the end, that's where everything goes first, YouTube second, and to be quite honest, Facebook is a distant third. All right, so I'm that guy who makes bold predictions. I'm that guy who hits a lot of predictions, but I don't get them all right. And this right here, let me just get that a little bit larger there. This right here came to an end officially yesterday. 3 weeks after Dan Campbell was named the head coach of the Detroit Lions, I made this prediction that the Lions would be in the Super Bowl in 5 years or less. Yesterday ended that 5-year run, and so I take responsibility. I got it wrong. It was a bold prediction. I was close, but you know what they say about being close. It don't mean anything. Half up 17 at half, whatever it was, against San Francisco in the NFC Championship game a few years ago. They fell short. I fell short. My prediction was wrong. So I'll say it when I get it right. I'll say it when I get it wrong. I got this one wrong. So people are going to, they already started last night, to be honest, on X, telling me no need to be hyperbolic. And, you'll hear people that say overreaction, you shouldn't overreact and all this and that. Listen, there's some serious things wrong with what we saw yesterday. NFL-wide, I mean, Netflix just, man, did that bomb in terms of who they had scheduled. Teams either out of the playoffs, one team in the playoffs, everybody else basically out. I mean, the Lions were essentially out last week when they lost to Pittsburgh. Green Bay's not going to lose both of their last two games. So it was just basically, it was a shit show. To be honest with you, I will say this, though, before I get into the lines. This is crazy because I don't ever watch halftime shows. Literally. I don't watch Super Bowl halftime shows. I don't watch any of that. I happened to watch the halftime show yesterday and of the Lions game, and I thought, wow, that was actually pretty good. I don't think Super Bowls are even that good, but there was a great range of stuff. I thought that was really good. And quite honestly, I mean, I never thought I would say the halftime show of a Detroit Lions game was the highlight. That was freaking awful. I have been the biggest supporter of the Detroit Lions over the last 5 years, of Dan Campbell and of Brad Holmes. I have supported them from afar as if I was in the building. I have believed in every single thing that they have done. I've believed in their drafts. I've believed in their risks. I've believed in the coach 'em up philosophy. I've believed in what we're gonna work with what we have. I've believed in not taking a lot of risks and going throw caution to the wind for these, quote, windows, which, by the way, if you know me or if you don't know me, there are no windows of winning for great franchises. They are only for losing franchises. Go ahead, scan that QR code up in the top right-hand corner. You could see my videos up on YouTube. Yes, Jason, you are right. I'm going to talk about that in just a moment. You can see that in what I say about winning windows and losing franchises versus winning franchises that are done the right way. There is no window. There's reload, there's reboot, there's adjust, there's adapt. Yes, there's opportunities, but if you're running things right, there's not windows. They don't just go away. You continue to draft, you continue to develop, you continue to be creative, you're constantly reinventing yourself. There is no window. What we saw yesterday was an indictment. Let's just put it that way. Now, let me address the injuries, what you're saying right there, Jason, about the offensive line being decimated. Couldn't agree more. I totally agree with you. And as a former coach in basketball, I just have an understanding of all forms of coaching. When you've owned business, when you are a fan, when you've owned business and you've coached any sport at any level, and for me it was middle school, high school, and AAU. I was fortunate to have some good teams and won 7 championships as a head coach. I'm telling you guys that is all a part of it. Injuries are a part of it. Certain types of random things that happen, ebbs and flows, in sync, out of sync, chemistry, non-chemistry. This is all a part of it. Coaches make players, players make coaches. When you get that going well together, at the same time, magical things can happen. And so what we are seeing now in this 5 years is that the Lions, in my opinion, are much further away than even they in the building think that they are. I love Dan Campbell. I'm a huge Dan Campbell guy. And let me say this here real quick, too, before I forget. Yesterday is a day where the letter M is very, very big, right? Merry Christmas, right? For me, sitting on my recliner watching that game, M was meaning, and I was having nightmares. I was having flashbacks. I was having visions of Morningwig, Marinelli, Mariucci, Millen, Martz. They were all Moeller. They were all flashing for me because what I saw was not just a decimated product by injuries. It was a product that quit. Sorry, and I don't ever say that ever. That's a big, big word. I saw a team that was disinterested. I saw a team with no emotion. Did anybody see anybody getting a little bit rambunctious on the sidelines or in the huddle or screaming a little bit? Did anybody see it? I didn't see it. Maybe I missed it. That can't happen. Where's the guy? And I'm not saying for you young fellas, and it looks like there's somebody here that's a young guy, or maybe that's just a picture. I don't condone this necessarily, but sometimes, honestly, it's what it takes. As long as you're not hurting anybody, flip a freaking table on the sidelines. Somebody kick a water cooler, do something. Don't hurt anybody. Don't go up to fans and get involved, DK Metcalf. Don't do anything like that. I'm not condoning that. But where is this? Holy shit, this matters to us. Our season's last week. Our season's on the line. This week, it's yesterday. It's officially on the line. It's win or you're finished for good. Let's be real here. The Lions are going to go into the offseason expected to finish last in the division next year. That's my opinion. If you're being real and you're being honest and you look at Green Bay and you look at Chicago and you look at Minnesota with a healthy and improved McCarthy, the Lions are slated to be ranked 4th in the NFC North. And that is a Lions through and through, born and raised in Detroit, Michigan, lived there for 52 of my 53 years of my life. A lifer. But I'm not a homer to the degree where I am not going to call what things are or what they're not. I'm going to call things the way that they are. Dan Campbell, this is for you. You'll never hear it. Maybe other people can get them the message. I don't know. Here's the deal. You are not a click away. You are not one play here or there away. You're not. And some of it is your fault, and some of it is not your fault. For example, Kirby Joseph, he's basically done. His career is likely over. Knee deterioration, there's not anything you can do about that. That's part of it. Frank Ragnow retired, but Frank Ragnow retired before the season started. You knew it. Even if it was a little bit late, you knew it was coming. You didn't prepare for it. You thought you could coach them up. And the minute somebody gets injured, you think you can coach up second team, third team, next man up. I am a believer of next man up. But there's a certain point in time where you have to realize that you have basically reached your max. I looked at it this morning just to make sure I didn't come out here today and say the wrong thing. I knew this, but I needed to double check. There are essentially 4 quarterbacks in the NFL that can't move in the pocket. I'm not going to count Phillip Rivers because that's temporary. Daniel Jones, when he's healthy, he can move. I'm not going to count Aaron Rodgers either because that's a stopgap 1-2 year type thing. He's 41 years old. He's not supposed to be able to move. Geno Smith, I think, was another one I had up there, and there was one more. Everybody else can move. Some more than others, but they can all move. Jared Goff can't move. He made one nice little play there, rambling out of the pocket. But it's like, is his knee going to blow out? Is his ankle going to blow out? It's like, he's going to get tripped up. Like, he cannot move. He is what he is. The modern game does not allow for that, guys. It just doesn't. And I like Jared Goff, and I like what he's done for the program. And I liked the trade to move on from Stafford. I'm not going to go back and change that. But let's be real here going forward. It needs to be perfect around him. You need to have a way above average offensive line. You need to have all the weapons like you do have in the backfield and at the wide receiver position, and when Laporte is healthy, at the tight end position. You have to have a perfect setup in order for him to do what he does. If anything is slightly off, and it's amazing, to be quite honest, it's really amazing that the wide receiver core, other than Laporte, he's not a wide receiver, but Tesla, Jameson Williams, Amon-Ra St. Brown injured a little bit, but he didn't lose any of those guys. And he didn't lose Montgomery, and he didn't lose Gibbs. He still had all those pieces. And this is any quarterback, right? This is any quarterback will not be as successful with a weaker offensive line. C.J. Stroud, think of him, and I hold C.J. Stroud in very high regard. Jordan Love, I hold him in very high regard. You could go back to the day of David Carr when he was the most sacked guy in history for the Houston Texans. If you don't have protection, you're going to be less successful. But here's a guy that I always look at. And similarly, the offensive line being decimated happened, and I almost said San Diego Chargers, the Los Angeles Chargers, Justin Herbert, and it completely, same as the Lions, decimated offensive line. No Joe Alt, change of centers, 3/5 basically injured. Justin Herbert's got a fractured left hand or a broken left hand, whatever you want to call it. Dude can move. He's also 6'5", and I called it 2 years ago that before the 2024 draft, you could see that up on YouTube. At that time, I said he was a Hall of Fame quarterback, barring catastrophic injury. The Lions don't have that luxury. Justin Herbert can make everyone around him better. Jared Goff needs everyone around him to make him better. That's the difference. We can look at 29 touchdowns and 5 interceptions going into yesterday, whatever it was, 29-4, somewhere in that neighborhood. We can look at him over the last couple of years, 5 years even. You can look at 2 years ago when the offensive line was fully intact, year before last, and you can say, wow, man, look at his numbers. But you got to look at, Campbell says it. I said it as a coach. You say it in business, it takes a village. All parts have to work and function properly to be at optimal levels. I got it. But it's life. Not everything is at optimal levels. It doesn't matter what it is. Life, sports, business, is it ever just perfect? For a little bit here and there, it's never perfect. It's never everything just goes right. And sometimes you say, oh my God, this is too good to be true. But things are going so good. I mean, it does. Generally speaking, something's going to happen. It's how you adapt and how you respond in those moments. That's where character comes through. I don't want to get into all the coach speak, but Jared Goff is limited, guys. We need to all realize that he's a good guy. We like what he's done. To sit over the last 5 years and watch the evolution of this team. Now it's a down time right now. But you look last year at 15-2. You look at the year before in the NFC Championship game, and you say, wow, this feels good. 50, 60, 65 years of just perennial losers, SOL, right? It felt good. I got the chills right now. It felt good to not feel that and to actually kind of forget what that felt like. And then it all came swooping back last week against Pittsburgh and yesterday against Minnesota. M&Ms, and I had none in the house. M&Ms running through my head. Again, Morningwig, Marinelli, go Sharks. Morningwig, Marinelli, Mariucci, I'm going to take the wind. That's what that felt like. Absolutely unbelievable how the bottom fell out of this. And when the bottom falls out, and it fell out in not San Diego, the Los Angeles Chargers, it fell out for them too. J.K. Dobbins, you move them on, you bring in a new coach, and Harbaugh, offensive line is really bad. What's his face? Oh my gosh, wide receiver can't catch a cold sometimes. Not Travion. Help me out, guys. The Chargers wide receiver, number one. You got Ladd McConkey, Orande Godson. You had Will Dissly there for a little bit. Then you bring in Omarion Hampton. He gets injured. You got Vidal in the backfield, and it's like, this is what Justin Herbert has to work with. They're 11-4, and they don't have a great defense. So it's like, I'm tired of the excuses of injuries. You know what? Why though? Let me just ask, why are there so many injuries? Why is it like every single play somebody's going down? That's in the whole league. As a Browns fan, I'm rooting for the Lions to stay good. Why is that? Because you guys are so bad and you aspire to be like what we became? I don't know. Why is there injuries constantly? It seems like the injury rate is higher across the NFL than ever before. All sorts of injuries, catastrophic injuries that are season ending, career ending, 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks. But for the Lions, it's like 2 years in a row. Like, what the hell is going on? I see some people on X, they go ahead and they screenshot the whole freaking medical training staff as if it's their fault. I don't know. Is it their fault? I don't see like a bunch of Achilles. I don't see necessarily a bunch of hamstrings. I don't see like injuries that would be related to overtraining necessarily. But what the hell is going on? How can you basically you were last year for sure. I got to see if we got another game left. We see what the final numbers end up, but you're basically up in the top three with most players on the IR. As you get somebody back and then he's gone again. Here's the real of it, guys. The real of it is very, very simple. Yesterday's what we saw is completely and utterly unacceptable. 68 yards rushing, 6 turnovers, 4 lost fumbles, 2 interceptions. I should say, 4. I got 4 lost fumbles there twice. My bad. 6 total turnovers, 4 lost fumbles, 2 interceptions. It was like literally watching a high school team that, everybody was a freshman. Everybody was a freshman and sophomore. That's an NFL football team. I don't care if it's your second level guy, your third string guy. I don't care what it is. It's an NFL football team. And you look like you never stepped on the field before. Like you never played together before. Like you don't have a care in the world. Is that quitting on Dan Campbell? Is it quitting? I don't know if it's quitting. I said it. I say it right. I say it in one of my promos. I said it. I'll get back to that in a minute. Did they quit on Dan Campbell? I don't know. They sure didn't look like they were ready to play. They sure didn't look like they were emotionally affected by their play. And quite frankly, again, you needed to win yesterday and win out, and you needed Green Bay to lose out. So chances were slim. But what happened last week? Why were you not ready to play last week? Newsflash, the Pittsburgh Steelers are average at best. And I know there's a Steeler guy here. The Pittsburgh Steelers are an average football team. They are a defense that's getting gashed by everybody. But the gig is up a little bit on the Lions, isn't it? In that, I mean, did anybody see Dallas Turner yesterday? Bro looked like he was shot out of a freaking cannon around the edge as if nobody was there. Now he has 6 sacks on the season, but looks like he's a world beater. It is back to the Lions making other players on other teams look like Hall of Famers. And I do think Dallas Turner is a good player, and I think he's got a nice future. But back to the Lions days where the Matt Flynn's and the other players from other teams, it's like you play the Lions, it's like you're going to look like a Hall of Famer. That's what I was witnessing. I think that's what we were all witnessing yesterday. That's very frustrating to see when you raise the expectation and you raise the bar, but now you see this performance. I don't care who's in the game. I don't care what string is in the game. It doesn't matter. It isn't as if this is only for the Lions and no one else has to go through it. If that was the case, then that's a built-in excuse. It's not. I don't want to hear about the referees either. How about the creative play call by Kevin O'Connell? And I think that this should be done more and more. You see it a few clicks here and there. This whole tush push and this whole sneak the quarterback forward. And you got a guy like Jordan Addison with wheels like that against a defense like that, and everybody's packed down. You see what happened? That is a manufactured touchdown for a team that can't score with an undrafted quarterback who looks like he's never played a day in his freaking life. You don't think that the Minnesota Vikings have a lot of injuries? Hello? Your starter's down, your second string's down, your third string's up. He threw for like 65 yards or whatever it was, and you still won the game. Now, how did that happen? How did that happen? Aaron Jones left the game for a little bit. He's about 103. Your backup just came back in Chandler. You got Ham back there. I don't know how that dude is even still in the NFL, to be honest with you. You can't get Justin Jefferson the ball. Hawkinson's out, just the same as Laporta's out. They found a way to win. They were already eliminated with no shot. They didn't look good. I got it, but they won the game, and I don't think it was ever really in doubt for them. How could it have gotten this bad this fast? How can you have all those weapons on the field and you perform that way in the final 2 weeks of the season? It's been all season, up and down, intermediate. I got spikes, here and there. I got it. But when everything was stacked and everything was on the line, all your offensive weapons, skill position weapons, except for Laporta, are available to you, and you're struggling. You can't manufacture points. You can't cash in down on the goal line. I did a reel or a short on YouTube a couple of days ago, and it got a lot of hits. It's like Dan Campbell again on the goal line. You're running a pick play. It is the most scrutinized play in a situation like that you could run. Why would you run that play in that moment where you have no room for any error? You cannot make a mistake. You go from first and goal at the 1 to first and goal at the 10 or 11, whatever it was exactly. I don't have it in front of me. You cannot do that. And you can't have Isaac Tesla be the guy who's setting the pick. He just got here 5 minutes ago. Even if you have your most seasoned veteran, it is a play that has been cracked down on. It has been watched by the NFL, and it cannot happen. 2 weeks in a row, you are scrambling to score. I get it. The offensive line is not there. Jared Goff can't move. Newsflash, Lions fans, and for all you people that think Jared Goff is so cute, you girls out there who think Jared Goff is so cute and he's so nice, and I like a lot of things about Jared Goff, leadership, his attention to detail, a lot of those things. He is what he is. And as I watched Campbell's post-game presser. He said, Brad and I need, and I'm paraphrasing, Brad and I need to sit down. We need to basically evaluate a lot of things. Maybe it's some player over here that needs to be moved over there, and I'm going to talk about that in a moment. But on the top of that list, you guys better be talking about how do we look, and I'm not saying do it for next year, to be clear. What are we doing? How are we thinking 3 years ahead, 5 years ahead, 10 years ahead? The greatest franchises in the world are doing that. And I think that the Lions are pretty good at that. Best they've ever been in my lifetime at that. They are not always thinking in the moment. They are thinking ahead. I don't think they have, to this point, been thinking ahead about the quarterback position. The NFL has changed. If you do not have a quarterback that can move, when you have bigger, faster, stronger players than ever before, and injuries are a part of it, second string is not as good as first, third is not as good as second. If you don't have the most important player on the field with the ability to adapt and adjust and do things that are, second nature, I guess you could say, that are an additional part of the game when you need to go to it. If you don't have that, you've put yourself right in a box. And all four corners are sealed and you can't get out. Is that what you want? Is that what you want as your quarterback? If you think that you're going to have an offensive line, they all wear knee braces for a reason. They all get rolled up on every single game. Do you honestly think that they're going to be 100% healthy again next year? No, they are not. There's going to be guys that are out for the year. There may be guys in camp that are gone for the year. It happens to every team. It's time to start thinking about the future at the quarterback position. That must start right now. And you need to start thinking about having a new quarterback in place, not next year, but the following. There, I said it. Yeah, I said it. I'm not going to drop my microphone because I need to talk into it, but that's the truth. You want to figure out a way to get out of this. You want to figure out a way to get more creative. You got all these weapons in their prime, and you got a quarterback that depends basically 100% on play action. Well, you've narrowed yourself down. You've given yourself very, very few options. And if something goes wrong, you can't adapt. You can't adjust. It's got to stop. Here are some of the changes that I would make. Basically, I'm all over this. If I'm Brad Holmes, if I'm Dan Campbell, and anybody else in the brass in the room, Mike McDaniel is a very good shot that he is not the head coach of the Miami Dolphins next Monday on Black Monday. Chip Kelly was paid $6 million by the Raiders this past season. Yeah, can you believe it? Kafka and a handful of others, or a little less than a handful of others, are around $3 million a year. And then there's $2 million, $1.5 million, and down from there. You open the checkbook and you give Mike McDaniel whatever he wants. You multiply it times 2 of what anybody else would offer. Because I got news for you. He won't be a head coaching candidate. He will be the number 1 offensive mind on the market. And as kooky as that dude is, and as much as I give that guy heat, he's not an NFL head coach. He should never, I don't know about never, but he shouldn't get another head coaching gig anytime soon. Not with the Dolphins and re-upping, not with any team, period. He is a coordinator, but he's a damn good coordinator. He's innovative. He's creative. He is all of those things. Again, I love Dan Campbell, and Dan Campbell is extremely creative, but Dan Campbell needs to be focused on coaching the Detroit Lions as a head coach. The D coordinator is the D coordinator. The O coordinator is the O coordinator. But just like what happened with Ben Johnson, and I'm going to give the man some credit here. All right, newsflash, stop the presses. I think that Dan Campbell helped Ben Johnson get to a certain level, and then Ben Johnson helped Dan Campbell to get to a certain level. There's the village talk, right? One helps the other. I did not think that Ben Johnson was going to be a terrific head coach. I still, you might think I'm crazy. Everything has went right for that team. Everything. Everybody they play, their quarterback's out, their quarterback's injured. It's these miraculous plays. It's these ball gets tipped up. It's every bounce has gone their way. Let's see what they do here in the playoffs, because the jury's still out. But the bottom line is he's not the offensive coordinator anymore, to where that's you, this is me, and the defensive coordinator's over there. I back up the truck to Mike McDaniel's house next Monday. We want you. You're going to have to wear pants that go all the way down to your shoes, but we want you, buddy. You're not going to get behind a podium. You're not allowed to, but we want you to run our offense. We want you to plug into our philosophy. We want you to bring your creativity to our team. And you think there is no team in the NFL with more offensive weapons than the Detroit Lions. And I think that Ben Johnson is an example or an indicator for a guy like Mike McDaniel that Campbell will cede control over and stay out of the way. I don't think he's a needler that way. I think he lets his coaches coach. Mike McDaniel will have the opportunity to come in and do what he needs to do. What other job out there? You might say because of the quarterback position, it's not as attractive as, say, someplace like, I don't know, the Giants with Jackson Dart. Cliff Kingsbury, we'll see what happens with him. Like a team like Washington with Jaden Daniels, that's more attractive. But if you're looking at your skilled positions in the backfield, at the wide receiver position and at the tight end position, there is no team that is more talented at those positions than the Detroit Lions. Therefore, somebody like Mike McDaniel, as kooky as he is, he's smart enough to understand. And let me get my paper here and let me start drawing some shit up, because, man, we could score 40 a game with this group. So you're all over that. I'm all over that if I'm the Lions. Penei Sewell, I never understood this from day one, honestly. The infatuation with Taylor Decker as your left tackle, I never totally understood it. Dude's constantly injured. There's constantly an issue. Sometimes when you leave him on an island, he's okay. Sometimes he's not. You got to move Sewell from right tackle right tackle to left tackle. I don't know. Move Decker over to the right side. Move him as a guard. I don't know. But you have a right-handed quarterback. You need your backside protected. Penei Sewell is 3X better than Taylor Decker. He needs to be your left tackle. Make it happen. I said this last night, and this is where somebody said to me, oh, don't be so hyperbolic. Listen, you have 3 ways to improve your team. You can draft, you can go acquire free agents, or you can trade. Think about this in a fantasy football context. I know it's fantasy football, and that's real football. I get it. But from this standpoint, it's the same. Here's why. You acquire as many assets as you can. Sometimes you have too many assets in one place. See the Cincinnati Bengals and how that's working out. They have $126 million committed to Joe Burrow, T. Higgins, and Jamar Chase. What's their record like? Are they in the playoffs? Are they a threat? They are not a threat. They are not in the playoffs. And they're in salary cap hell. And they have a defense that might be the worst in the NFL, if not for sure in the bottom 5. That's what happens when you have too many weapons on one side of the ball and not enough pieces in other areas that are going to give you the opportunity to win. Not look fancy, not put up a lot of points, but win. I love Isaac Tesla's game. I actually watched him at Arkansas, and I was a big SEC guy, and I'm frustrated. I was frustrated to see, like, man, they have no quarterback. This guy has all this ability to change a game on a dime. They can't get him the ball. They're not even schemed to get him the ball because they don't have a quarterback that can make those types of plays. And it's like, this dude's like wasting away. And then Brad Holmes and the Lions get ultra aggressive and they move up all those spots to get him and take him in the 3rd round. Do I want Isaac Tesla as a part of the Detroit Lions? 100%. Absolutely. Can we or should we have him based on what we have committed to St. Brown, what we have committed to Jamison Williams? We need to potentially commit to Laporta. We've got Gibbs. We have to make decisions soon to make with Montgomery. Who's the odd man out? It isn't St. Brown. It isn't Jamison Williams. It's Isaac Tesla. When is Isaac Tesla's value any higher than it is right now? The dude's a machine. Like, he lives at the goal line. He lives at the end zone, in the end zone. He's had such limited, what has he got, 6 touchdowns? Limited opportunities. The guy catches everything. He's got Stickum in a league where the band Stickum. Dude can go up and get balls. He can go by you and get balls. He can go fade and get balls. He can do whatever you need to do. You're not going to take him instead of the other two. You're not going to line up all three. You can't afford him when his rookie deal's up. You can't. Somebody said to me last night, it's hyperbolic and he works well with those two guys. I know he does. So does Khalif Raymond. And that's your slot guy, or somebody like that. That's your slot guy. And you have the other two on the outside. You're going to have injuries, but you have acquired a piece and you have displayed that piece that demonstrates value and can get something in return. You are not close to winning the Super Bowl. You have holes now all over. You have holes at center. You have holes at safety. And I have this to say, sorry, guys, Terrion Arnold is not going to work out. He is not a starting cornerback in the NFL. DJ Reed is not a starting cornerback in the NFL. I mean, you best have Lawrence Taylor on one side, Bruce Smith and Reggie White also, so that your secondary never gets exposed. Well, you don't have that. And I'm going to get to Hutchinson in a minute because he's anywhere close on the names that I just mentioned on their levels. It's so intermittent. It's some of the time. It's not all of the time. And I don't want to hear that they had 2 players in double-digit sacks. I don't want to hear it. There's nothing up the middle. Who knows what happened to Aleem McNeil? Who knows if the injury is what it was? DJ Reader is, more further along. Tyleik Williams, I'm not sure what we have there because the dude was pretty much invisible all year. Anzalone's not around forever. You got Campbell, who's a freaking stud. You got Derek Barnes. Again, it's a Houdini act. Sometimes he's there. Sometimes he's not. Sometimes you got to look. Is he on the field? Where's 55? Is he impacting the game in any way? No, not enough. So you got problems at both cornerback positions. You have now a problem due to injury. It appears long-term to Joseph. You have trouble 3/5 of your offensive line. You got a problem at center that you have to address. Graham Glasgow isn't necessarily the answer. He's getting up there a little bit too. Anyways, Taylor Decker's getting up there a little bit. You have issues. Stop saying you're a moment away, a play away. You're not. Like, I've had it. My promo piece said I've stayed quiet for too long, or I've stayed quiet long enough. I can't stay quiet anymore. You can't be fooled anymore. We're going to coach them up. No, you're not going to coach them up because the other team who has the more talent is going to show you up. That's just it. That's just the reality of it. Are you going to hang around in middle? Do you want to be the Pittsburgh Steelers, Lions fans, and somebody here is from Pittsburgh? Is that who you want to be? I don't want to be that. Mike Tomlin, I have 18 seasons with 10 wins. And you get blasted. You're hanging on by a thread. You see Rodgers last week? Oh, everybody's on pins and needles. You're in that position where one thing goes wrong. You're not even in the playoffs. I don't want the Lions to be that. Dan Campbell says he doesn't like to be home at playoff time. Well, Dan, time to change your approach. You're considered one of the greatest young coaches, 49, I believe he is, in the NFL. One of the greatest leaders, one of the greatest developers of talent, all of that. You've proven your worth. Now you have to prove that you have the ability to adapt and adjust and evolve. The greatest leaders in the world, it doesn't matter what it has to do with sports, life, business, it doesn't have. Can you recognize where you're deficient? And are you going to be stubborn like, I don't know, Mike Tomlin, John Harbaugh, sometimes Andy Reid, Jerry Jones? There's a lot of people that can't get out of their own way. Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes can't be that. I'm not saying they're the 3rd or 4th best cap position. They're in the top 10 of the lowest dead cap money. They've been fiscally responsible. I'm not saying you go out and you you sign everybody on the street and you just throw shit at the wall and hope it sticks. I'm not saying that. You need to have a plan, but your plan and philosophy needs to be adjusted. And hopefully when you make those adjustments with what you've already done really good at building and you put that together, then there is no window. You just continue this on. You had a bump, a very serious bump. Okay, the bottom fell out. Let's just, I see, I want to give them the benefit of the doubt. I can't give them the benefit of the doubt anymore. The bottom has freaking, the hatch door has freaking opened and basically everybody's fallen in. You are not a competitive NFL football team right now. When I say competitive, I judge, my criteria is based on, are you legitimate? Are you going to the playoffs? And are you legitimately competing for the Super Bowl? They are not. Sorry, they're not. That all changed last year in the playoffs when you came out and you played like that against Washington. And by the way, Ben Johnson was the offensive coordinator there. You were basically never in that game. And not much has changed since then. Honestly, not much has changed. You cannot win consistently like this and absorb injuries that are going to come with a stationary statue at quarterback. Can't do it. You cannot, even if they're putting up 30, 35 points, if you have cornerbacks, like DJ Reed is like 5 foot nothing. You got guys like Justin Jefferson or Malik Neighbors when he's healthy, or even guys like Ladd McConkey, they eat him up. This was your prized signing. DJ Reed was your one move in the offseason that you hung your hat on. All right, Brad. I mean, Brad Holmes is one of the best young minds in all of football. He learned under Les Snead. He's become, in my opinion, one of those guys like a Howie Roseman. I don't know that he's there yet, but like a Howie Roseman, John Schneider, Les Snead type of GM. But he has to evolve too. You cannot be stubborn now, or this thing will really bottom out. And in players, you can already see it. Players are frustrated. Winning solves a lot. When you're not winning, when you're winning, people tend to shut up. When you, like Derek Montgomery, he's getting frustrated. He's not getting the ball. And I get it. It's hard. You're going to get Gibbs the ball and guy can do everything. You really have to work to find. That's part of the price of being good. Sometimes you get really good in certain areas that you have like a wealth of talent at that position. It's tough to get everybody the ball. And that's exactly what's going to happen with Jameson Williams, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Sam Laporta, and Tesla. There's not enough to go around, guys. There's not. And there's not enough ball to go around, and there's not enough money to go around. So somebody has to go. And you need to convert, in my opinion, Tesla and package it together. Lost sound there. It looks like I'm back. To give you the opportunity to move up in the draft, or to give you an opportunity to go trade for somebody. And, people who have great corners, they're not looking to get rid of them. And I'm not talking about a guy like Sauce Gardner, because that dude's never proved anything. That was wasted by the Colts. And I'm not saying because they're in the position they're in with Daniel Jones. It wasn't the right move before Daniel Jones got hurt. And I think that's what Brad Holmes knows. He's not just willing to just go throw stuff out at names. It needs to make sense. You can't just do it to say you did it. And Sauce Gardner is not that answer. I get it. They don't grow on trees. The Surtans of the world, they're in a class by themselves. And generally when you have those, you're not giving them up because they don't grow on trees. I get it. But you got to figure something out, because DJ Reed's not your answer. Terrion Arnold's not your answer. Amik Robinson isn't your starting corner answer. These are not answers. Now, Kirby Joseph at safety and Brian Branch at safety, those were your answers, but one is basically, we'll see what ends up coming out of this, but by all account, it looks like he's either done or he will never be the same again, or it's limited. He has a limited shelf life because it's deteriorating. His knee, I believe, is deteriorating. So you have to address it. And how do you address it? You got to go get somebody. It's frustrating, man. It's really, really frustrating. Again, how to replace Jared Goff? You got to start thinking about it now, guys. Where are we at? They have a top 15 pick next year. I'm not saying go draft a quarterback, put your 15th pick overall, but you need to start thinking about it. You really do. You got to get current, man. You have to get current in the NFL. Your quarterback has to be able to move too big, too fast, too strong. It's just that simple. If anybody has any questions, please pop those up on the screen. If you've liked what you've heard so far or in the past and you're not a subscriber on YouTube, please scan the QR code in the upper right-hand corner. That'll take you right to YouTube. Smash the subscribe button and follow along. A lot of shorts are up there. More are coming. Short form, medium form, long form content. You should start to see more. X is the #1 place where everything goes first, including my picks. That is at PB Sports Talk on X. You can also follow on Facebook, but that's in the 3rd position. That is also at PB Sports Talk as well. Shoot your questions if you'd like. Let me go over to a couple of notes that I have here. Make sure that I've covered everything. Yeah, I noted, Aaron Rodgers can't move. Geno Smith can't move. Matt Stafford can't move. Even Jacoby Brissett, I think he's 34. Even he can move. You have basically no movement. Stafford's 37, going to be 38, whatever he is. He's not supposed to be able to move. Aaron Rodgers, 40, 41. Phillip Rivers, these guys are not supposed to be moved. So I don't even count them. Like Joe Burrow is not like your most fleet of foot guy, but Joe Burrow can do everything. Joe Burrow has the ability to get rid of the ball in ways that Jared Goff just simply can't. On a 3-step, 5-step, 7-step, play action, pressure, no pressure, he can still make plays. Now, their offensive line is decimated too, and he's constantly under pressure, and he might not even be with the Bengals next year. And there you go again. Losing gets old. It gets really, really old. And the Lions are on the verge of this not getting any better unless they make significant change. I will catch all kinds of heat for this, by the way. I will get messages. I will get, you don't know ball, because that's one of the famous ones. You're racist. That's another famous one. It doesn't even matter who I'm talking about. I said something about Lamar Jackson yesterday. I got called a racist. See the 8 players behind me, or players and coaches? 4 are black, 4 are white. Yeah, I'm racist. I'm racist. I have 3 quarterbacks or 2 black quarterbacks ahead of Lamar Jackson, but I'm racist. And no, I don't want Lamar Jackson on the Lions. No, I do not want Lamar Jackson on the Lions. That dude is not a winner. He's not. He's a regular season quarterback. He's a fantasy football quarterback. If anybody's old enough to remember the Tecmo Bowl days with Bo Jackson running around like a crazy man, that's Lamar Jackson. He's not a drop back passer. He can't go through progressions and reads and do what he needs to do. I don't want Lamar Jackson. Who's the answer at the quarterback position in 2 years, 3 years, 4 years for the Lions? I don't know. I don't think any of us know. He certainly isn't on our roster. And I don't know necessarily if he's on another roster right now. It might be one of the next guys to come up. I crushed it with Jackson Dart. I crushed it with Jaden Daniels, Bo Nix. That's all on record. You got to start looking. You better start looking. You better start looking into what it's going to take, when and where, and in what year, and in what slot, and in what value, and get creative. Question yourself on everything. Any business leader does that. Do a full inventory of your thought process of not just your roster, but your thought process, your now. I have a famous phrase that I say, what's now, what's new, what's next? If the Lions franchise and brass is not thinking of that every single day, all day long, then this won't go away. This won't get fixed. Because we know what now is. It's not very good. Do we know what's new? Well, I listed out some better be new, and you better figure out what's next. Because this will go sideways fast. And I got news for you. Even though I live in Florida now and I don't live in Michigan, Detroit fans will not put up with this all over again. They just won't. We can't do this again. You're good enough right now to fix this on the fly. Don't let it bottom out and crater more into the sand so that it's so deep that you cannot get out. You have some really good parts. You have terrific head coach. You've got a terrific general manager. Now get out of your own way. Your philosophy needs to be reimagined, re-engineered, because this next man up, we're going to coach him up. It's not going to happen. Generally speaking, I mean, you need to have an organization. You need to have the discipline. You have attention to detail. You need to have all of those things. But at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, talent generally shines through. Like Moneyball with the A's, that worked there for a little bit. But generally speaking, talent wins out. Speed, as they say, kills, right? You got it at Jamie. You got it with Jameson Williams. You have it with Gibbs. You damn sure don't have it with Jared Goff. And I'm not saying you need Lamar Jackson type speed, by the way. But you need somebody mobile enough to be able to get out of trouble when you need to, because not everything is just going to be perfect and cozy in your 72-degree pocket, 72 degrees as in temperature pocket in Ford Field. He's, slayed those people that says he can't play on the road in colder weather. I got it. But if you get pressure up the middle, everybody knows that. And pressure up the middle, up the side, he's finished. He can't do it. It is what it is. Cliche, I get it, but it is. And it's shining bright right now. And yesterday should be the wake-up call of all wake-up calls. Because the blueprint is established. It has been talked about. It has been thought about. And maybe people got a little bit, the Lions. Ooh, we're going to get beat over the top. Ooh, we better this, we better that. The gig's up. Blueprint's out. Everybody has a copy. It's a copycat league, right? All sports. They say it all the time in basketball. It's a copycat league in football, too. Sell out, Brian Flores, right? Bring the house and it's over. They can't even snap the ball. Tripping. It's like, what is going? It's like, just, yeah. Campbell's like, it only takes a little bit to get off center. Yeah, I got it. I get it. To the left, to the right, and off center, and anything in life. Throw some curves and knuckles and fastballs, zipping up by the chin. I get it. This is concerning, folks. Anybody who thinks that it's not, better get real with yourself. Oh, let's just go back to it and come back as we were this year, and we'll get healthy. And we'll be 100% healthy. Detroit Lions next year isn't doing much. That's the reality there, but I can't put it in any more simple terms. Make every single player, right, including Kirby Joseph, who may be finished. Make every player, every number one starter that you have, make them 100%. You're not winning the Super Bowl. No. And that's harsh to say, to even think for me. When I predicted that they'd be in the Super Bowl within 5 years, on this 5-year run since Campbell got hired, it's not happening. You're not good enough. You don't have enough talent. You don't have enough game-breaking talent in areas that it matters. And I'm going to end with this. Aiden Hutchinson. Those maybe that don't know me know that I said that he would not translate to the NFL out of Michigan. I was not a fan of taking him at number 2. I took ownership for that. I said I was wrong. Obviously, he did some things, and he did really, really well. But you're starting to see that people seem to be able to figure him out a little bit. And I know he came off the catastrophic injury last year, whatever he's got in sacks this year. Nothing compared to his top level. But it's like he seems to get neutralized so much. Guys, and I'm going back here, and I'm dating myself, but guys like Reggie White and Bruce Smith and Myles Garrett and Michael Strahan, everybody in the building knew what you had to do to beat those guys. Double teams, triple teams. It didn't. Aaron Donald, it's an interior guy, but they impacted the game anyways. How many times do we have to look at Aiden Hutchinson blowing air like he's got no lungs left and like he's got nothing left to give? I know he goes hard. I'm not questioning his effort. I'm questioning his ability to be discussed on the same level as a Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett's going to go out there and he's going to get you 5 sacks, 4 sacks. He's not just doing it once in a while. And it isn't as if that's a loaded defense where everybody is freeing him up. Like, I don't know, the Buddy Ryan Eagles with Seth Joyner and Jerome Brown and Reggie White and all of those guys, Clyde Simmons. It isn't as if he has that over there. So you can't say, oh, he has that over there, but Hutchinson doesn't have that in Detroit. And he's constantly getting double and triple teams. You've got to win. You've got to win those battles anyways. You want to be the best in the league? You got to be the best in the league. He's not. He's just not. Is he? Do you know, like, do you actually think that other offenses, they know where he's at? Okay, it's not like he's bad. They have to be aware of where he's at. But do you think that they're game planning? Honestly, do you think that they are, oh my gosh, we have to put extra time this week. How are we going to stop Aiden Hutchinson? Do you think that's happening? I'm not so sure. Until he proves that he can go to a new level, I don't think it's happening. He's going to have his moments. He's going to have his moments yesterday. But if that's not freaking Brosmer, he's not making those plays. Let's be real. If it's J.J. McCarthy, he's not making all of those plays because, I mean, Max Brosmer is just really, really, really bad. And he's not going to get much better. It's not because he's new. He's just not that good. So when you do stuff against teams like that are out of the playoffs with nothing to play for, really, although they did play like they had something to play for, I'm not judging Aiden Hutchinson on that. I'm judging Aiden Hutchinson against the best that have everything to play for and everything to lose. And he seems to disappear more than he appears. And so maybe, just maybe, it's closer to what I thought of him coming out of Michigan. We'll see. I mean, I've already owned it and said that I was wrong because he came out and he did 2 terrific years and then he got injured. And now we have this year. It's not par. It's not okay. And I like Muhammad, but I don't know if Muhammad is a starter in your other end. Can he evolve? Can he get better? Can he duplicate that? Perhaps. But I'm not convinced. No offense in the NFL is fearing the Detroit Lions defense. They have moments. Minnesota game in the end of the season last year, they did it. Eagles this year, they did it. You're going to do it here and there where everything works? Yeah, that's great. That doesn't make you a great defense. That makes you a once-in-a-while defense. And just like the offense, when not everything's going right and you can't run your play action, that's not a great offense. Sorry. It's just not. Offensive line matters. Defensive line matters. I got it. But it's not perfect. It's not a perfect science. You got to be able to perform when guys are down. That was tough watch. Football in general was a tough watch. That was bad. Netflix, real quick. What is with their studio shows? Nate Burleson and Matt Ryan, you guys stay in your other role because neither one of you are any good at that role. Brandon Marshall's screaming, dude, shut up. Seth Rollins on the stage or whatever there. What are you doing? Like is this trying to be like the XFL? I will give this guy credit. Drew Brees came out like about a year ago, and he said, I need an opportunity because I can be one of the best at what I do. That's really the first game that I've heard Drew Brees do color analyst the entire game, and he was good. And he's young. He's like Brady was when Brady first started out, although Brady was really bad when he first started out. Now I believe he's the best. Drew Brees has that saying. He's maybe already better than Romo and Aikman. For me, just real quick, if you don't know me, for me, it's Brady 1. Greg Olsen, who I think is terrific, is 2. Romo 3. Aikman 4. Now, Drew Brees doesn't have the opportunity to do a lot of games like that. But when he does, and if he does, you're going to move him up that list too. He was very good, I thought. Really, really good. And the halftime show was good. So, Detroit, I'm with you. I can't wait to see what X says after this throughout the day. I know One Pride is trending for the wrong reasons. It's panic in Motown. I hope Dan Campbell realizes what he said 5 years ago. I don't want to hear SOL no more. That's what convinced me. We're going to bite the kneecaps, all that rah-rah stuff. The rah-rah's over. And everyone's handing in their rah-rah card because we're done. I think universally speaking, the Lions fans are done with the rah-rah card. You got us close. You teased us, and now you've regressed. Injuries or not, you've regressed. And as I just said, line them all up. Line up all your first stringers. This is how I understand it. This is how I view it. And I'm just being real with you. Line up all your top flight guys, all your injuries. Even bring Frank Ragnow back at a healthy Frank Ragnow. You're not winning the Super Bowl. You are not good enough. Time to own that and make the changes necessary right now. This offseason, it's going to be scrutinized heavily. I hope they know what's coming, man, because everybody's watching. Every reporter, every beat reporter, every person with one of these, it's going back to Patricia-type days. It's a click above that, a few clicks above that. I get it. That was a total disaster show. But people don't like what they see, and the whole nation saw what they saw last night or yesterday. And it was not good. It was bad. Really, really bad. Very amateurish, high schoolish, poor. Whoomp, whoomp, whoomp. Bobby Ross. The ship is sinking. All right, guys. Everybody have a great day. Again, hope everybody had a Merry Christmas. I'm sure I'll be back on before New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. For those of you that I don't see, thank you for joining. Everyone have a very, very happy New Year. You know, it's not the end of the world that the Lions lost, but you better pick a different team, obviously, this year. Maybe it's the Broncos. I don't know. Maybe some of you it's the Bears. Some of you it's not the Kansas City Chiefs fans. I know that. We're sitting home with them together, and they have some problems too. Chiefs got a lot of issues too. Anyways, everybody have a great day. Scan the QR code. Smash the subscribe button on YouTube. Follow us on X at PB Sports Talks with an S on the end. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day. Bye-bye.